Hey, so I want to share a little bit of my story with you so that in hopes you can find some of your story in mine and see, okay, if she can do that, then maybe I can do this, right? I can stick with it. Because I promise you, there was nobody weaker or wimpier alive, mentally or physically, than I was. And I started late. I had zero knowledge, none. And so I know that if I can do this, so can you. We will look different, right? I'm almost I'm 5'11", I'm almost 6 feet tall. I mean, we're going to look different. We're not going to have the same results, but you will find your healthiest, strongest version of you, just like I have. It takes time, lots of time. It's taken me a couple years. It also takes having the right plan, the right nutrition plan, someone to be accountable to. There's a lot of pieces that go into play, but I promise you can do it. I feel like the biggest thing though is focusing on the right why of what motivates you to do it on the days that just suck, and you're not going to see results, and it's hard and it's expensive. If you have a great enough why and the right mindset of why you're doing this, you will find success, right? You will find and build your own strongest version. We don't know what your strongest and healthiest version of you is going to weigh. We don't know what it's going to look like. So that's why we cannot keep comparing back to a weight that you were 5-10 years ago, or before kids, or before you went through menopause, or whatever you're going through. Drop that. Like, get that number out of your head like it's the plague. That was you then. So much has changed. Muscle mass changes. So many things change. Metabolism slows down. Your gut health is different. You could be under different stress levels. Age period is not a fair comparison. So don't set yourself up for failure is what I say. Set it up for success, not failure. You have to have realistic expectations. And so when I realized I had 4 kids and didn't like how I looked because I'd kept and retained weight from each one of these. And by the end of it, I just didn't recognize my body. And I didn't know where to start because I'd never been on a sports team. I did cross country for a year because we had just moved into this new city in Washington because we were Air Force. We moved every 3 years. And my parents said, oh, this she'll get to meet friends. We'll put on the cross country team. It was awful. It was terrible. I was the last kid. I crossed the line every time though, which was a miracle. My parents were like, is she coming? I finished, but it's terrible. I'm not meant to move. That's what I had figured. It's like a giraffe. Like, do you see giraffes moving very fast or coordinated? No, they don't play sports teams and they're not in gyms. That's kind of how I felt. And I was fine with that until I realized I'm not fine. I don't have the energy I want. I'm snappy and I'm irritable. Something's got to change. So around age 35, 36, I start trying different things because I knew something had to give. Still didn't have a thing to do with nutrition. I'd never read a food label. I mean, I'd heard the word calorie, but I didn't understand calories at all. I ate pretty much whatever my kids did. They snacked, I snacked. I grazed all day long. And so I did CrossFit, went with a friend for 6 weeks, hated it, almost wanted to throw up after every class, never went back because I didn't see results. I did Reformer Pilates for a while and loved it, didn't see any results, so quit. I did DVDs from home. I did VHS tapes, The Firm from I don't even know what decade that is, with my little 5-pound dumbbells, because strength was never my goal, ever. I had no thought of ever being strong. That literally didn't even be a wish list. If I'd like to look like her, that wasn't even there. And so for mine, I just kept saying, I want to be back to where I was before I had kids. And so it started with wanting to be the same weight. I get that. That was the only thing I knew is a gauge or judge. I just thought, okay, well, that's what I weighed then. That's what I want to get back to. And never worked with any of these plans. I couldn't stick with it. I gave up after 3 weeks. Literally 3 weeks is that mark that happens. Not seeing results. I just didn't enjoy it. And I just was chasing a scale. That was it. And so if that's the only thing that changes, I didn't really know what to change in my habits. I just was working out, and that wasn't enough to do it. It didn't meet what I really was craving, which was a lifestyle change. So here was what my final why was. There were 2 things. One was at close to age 37, I found I hated how ornery and snappy, crabby, I could go on forever, irritable I was with my kids. During the day, it was fine. But by the end of the day, because I was a stay-at-home mom of 4, and my husband traveled a lot, I was not nice by the end. And I wasn't, yelling and that, but I snapped at everything. And the worst final straw was my daughter, little girl, was brushing her teeth, and she dropped the toothbrush in the bathroom sink. I'm pretty germ conscious. So my response was, oh my gosh, I have to buy you a new toothbrush, or I have to go boil it. I'm not just gonna rinse it off. That's one of my phobias, it's just germs in a sink. So my response was oh my gosh, what did you do? You dropped it in the sink. And I just lit off, and I didn't mean to. I didn't want to be doing that. I didn't like feeling like that. And her little huge big eyes looked up at me what did I do? I dropped a toothbrush. And that's when it hit me of enough is enough. Oh my gosh, I'm getting emotional. It's not right. I hated myself. And the mom guilt was terrible. And oh, my poor husband, I mean, the last of whatever patience I had was out on him. I just couldn't do it anymore. And I knew that it was lifestyle. I knew that the snacks and the crap I was eating was producing this, the amount of sugar. I knew it was doing that. I knew that not having an exercise as an outlet or to help with mental health was hurting all of this. I knew I had to change something. So that is way greater than a stupid number on this scale that I was like equating the looks with, that I still wanted. I'm not diminishing that, but that was my reason of, okay, this isn't about the scale. I have to change my daily habits so that I'm a better person. Mom, wife, friend, everything, right? It had to change. And so I started approaching it differently. And the second thing was I was hiking with my mom and two sisters, and we went, it was a pretty flat trail, but I'm back with my mom, and my sisters yell back at me like, hey, just, you can just hang out with mom, take care of mom. We're going to run up, we'll meet you and loop back around. And it hit me at that same time period of, how did I get lumped back with mom? And I love my mom, but it was just like, I'm 25 years younger. Like, I'm at the point where they think my level of ability, stamina, is back with my mom who's 25 years older. And the thing was, they were right. I couldn't keep up with them on a flat trail. And I just, for numerous reasons, and that was it. So I was like, okay, that was kind of the impetus of like, do it now, the final straw I needed. So as annoyed as I was, it was truthful. So you guys, you gotta find something that is a great enough why that has nothing to do with the scale, because the scale doesn't mean anything, right? And it's gonna change constantly. And you're gonna hit that and you're gonna realize, I still don't look like what I look like. I'm just kind of maybe a skinnier version of it, skinny fat as we like to sometimes call it. Or I thought I'd be happier. I thought I'd like myself more. I thought I'd be less honoring. I thought I'd be less snappy if I was skinnier. Well, just being skinnier or weighing less is not going to make you less snappy, right? We've gotten to that point a lot of times by just cutting, restricting foods, not having, what we call cheat meals, or hours on the cardio. It's not a productive, healthy way to get to that loss, nor is it maintainable, because I found that from many, many times of trying. So this is all from self-experience, right? My own experience. I had to focus on something different. So I didn't have a scale. I didn't care. I took body measurements all over and I took pictures, and that's what I based off of. And I found a program and I did 3 HIIT workouts a week. That was it for a whole year. That's it. I didn't even get past that. It kicked my butt. It was awful. It was so hard to stick with it. I would watch a TV show and watch an entire hour of Grey's Anatomy while I did one 20-minute HIIT workout. Because I'd pause, it was hard, I didn't want to do the weights. I dragged out as much as I could, but it showed me that I could do hard things. So after months of doing it, I decided I did lose my weight. I also went on I'm an all or nothing. I had so much sugar throughout the day. I mean, I had no concept of what I was eating. So I just eliminated all of it. I was like, I can do a challenge that I had with myself for a couple months of no crackers, cookies, chips, any soda. And I don't drink alcohol anyways, anything that wasn't a healthy food, which I just kind of gauged myself, common sense, and just cut all of it. Was it hard? Absolutely. My body was in shock. But because it was everything and not just eliminating certain things, that's what worked for me. So we'll discuss different ways of cutting that. It doesn't have to be as dramatic. That just worked for me. So in combination, obviously, if I cut out those snacks, I reduced my calorie intake by hundreds. So that supported my weight loss. I got skinny fat, right? I just shrunk. And I don't know if that's the right term to use, but I realize that's ones everyone is related to, because I just was loose everywhere because there was no muscle tone. So I still had the idea of I still am a little bit overweight for me, right? This is not overweight by anyone else's standard. I get that. But for me, 25 pounds more than what I was used to weighing is a lot for me. And so that's when I realized, okay, I'm feeling better. My energy levels are better. I am nicer. I like this. I didn't necessarily like how my body looked, because I realized this still wasn't what I was going for. I actually wanted muscle tone. I wanted to be able to do hard things. And just because I was a skinnier version didn't take that away. But I did find by eating healthier and eliminating all the sugary foods and starting to move, I liked myself better. And my kids, my little girl was sitting at the bar stool, I'll never forget, and we're in the kitchen, and she says, Mom, that makes me emotional again. Mom, you seem happier. And I'm like, yeah, today's been a good day, we'll go on the day. She's like, no, you seem happier. You don't yell anymore. And I bawled, because it's hard. You guys know it's hard to stay with a plan, especially HIIT. I hate HIIT. I hate cardio. It sucked. And it was just for me. And I wasn't hearing from other people, hey, you look different. And I just kept doing it because I knew it made me healthier. I felt better a little bit every single day, and whatever my body looked like, great. And I was so grateful that she noticed that change, that I was different because I was taking care of myself, right? It's about being healthy. So from that point, I was like, oh my gosh, this is worth it. What else can I do? So I realized I don't want to be skinny. I don't even care what the scale says. I want to be able to do hard things now, keep up with my sister on these hikes, And so I started lifting. And so I had a friend that saved me, said, hey, get certified. This is where you should get certified. You feel so good and you're so passionate about helping other women feel as good as you do because they're better moms and wives and friends. Go get certified. This is what I suggest. And I'll hire you at this gym and you can start training other people because I want you to impact other women. Well, at that time, I still never lifted a weight, never been in a gym. That was all new to me. I still didn't know anything about nutrition. All I had done at that point was just cut my calories by cutting out sugar. So it has been a massive learning curve for me of just asking a billion questions and trial and error. And I've loved every bit of it. So because I've treated it as I want to learn how to be healthier and how to have a healthier lifestyle. And I have to learn how to basically retrain all of my habits. Why do we eat healthy? Let's eat mindfully. What are the right serving sizes? What's protein? Am I having too many carbs? That's why I'm bloating. What kind of exercise and food go together to support the goals I want? I mean, I knew nothing, but because I wasn't chasing a number on a scale and I had no time frame, I just knew every day I just wanted to be better, learn something a little more, apply it, try it. My body changed as I learned. And yeah, I had hiccups where, I went up, I went down as I learned different things, but it all ended up playing out. So it was amazing. It was awesome because once I got to the gym, I had this friend that was my manager that helped teach me a lot about programming, and I learned by baptism by fire. And I had another friend that was so kind to let me lift with them. And so I just followed his workouts, and that's how I learned to kind of put things together. And that saved me, absolutely saved me. Then I would have to go home and figure out why we did what we did and how does that apply to me because they were his goals and how do I change it? How do I eat? Right? It is a long journey. But my point is, it was a journey, and as cheesy as that word says, it was a journey. It wasn't I want to be skinny and I'll take that, right? Because all of our daily habits are a reflection of the calories we eat by the end of the day, right? So when you say, I want to count macros, I want to count calories, well, that's great. But if you hit those numbers that we determine are good for you, that hitting those are just a reflection that you're understanding and keeping daily habits that are congruent with the lifestyle that you want, right? So when we focus on that, when we think, okay, well, I did baby steps, like a year of just one thing. I didn't count macros or calories till almost 2.5, 3 years in because I just wanted to feel better and change my daily habits. And I wasn't in any hurry. That's, I feel like, why I've seen success. That's why I still am excited to get into the gym. That's why I'm constantly learning, reading articles, better understanding, testing my macros. Am I here? Am I there? I sampled all kinds of products for supplements, trying to make sure the holes and gaps in my nutrition were filled. Because it all goes in, it's all one big puzzle. So many pieces have to be in place to see the results that we want. But you can't just say in a 2-week time period, give me a list, let me change this, and I'll be the size 3 that I want, or size whatever it is that you're aiming for, that I hear from people. And it doesn't work that way long term, I found personally. So I created all of this from the training programs and the apps and the education center and everything on Instagram and YouTube and everywhere that I am, and then found the right supplements that have saved me in filling out the holes and gaps in my nutrition. And that's your tool, the nutrition side, right? The programs are the tools for the exercise side. They all go together, right? You need a full plan. So I try to just take all that I learned over all those years of trial and error and asking and being so blessed to have people in my life that taught me. I put it all together. So hopefully it's just a package for you guys. You don't have to go out and find all these different things and answer all these questions on your own. You still need to tweak it to meet you, but I've got the supplements for you that work. I've got the programs that I found worked and hopefully work to help you reach your goals. And that hopefully you find you've got someone to be accountable to and a community to support you and all those things I wish I would have had because I felt really alone for a lot of it, just figuring this out on my own. So that's kind of where I am now. I now have turned this all into how can I help you do it? But at the same time, I'm still learning every single day. I'm constantly switching up my food, finding something that works better, that fuels me better, that recovers faster. And I share all that with you guys because I want you to see the same success I have. Because my why is still my greatest why. I do not, nor will I allow myself to get back to the snappy, irritable monster that I was. Because I ask my kids all the time, am I still nice at night? Oh, Mom, totally different person. Like, we will have good memories of you. We enjoy being with you at night. That is priceless. That is worth not eating the snacks. That is worth eating more vegetables. That is worth buying the protein and hitting it. That is worth getting up and exercising when I don't want to because I'm tired. So please find something that drives you enough to stick to your plan the best you can. We used to have days that suck. I call them the wash weeks or days, right? Days that just don't happen. But you stick to your plan and you continue the next day because you know it's a lifestyle. It's not just a 6-week challenge. It's not a fad. It's not a diet. This is your life going forward. It's preventative for one, so that you can move and function how you want to in your later years. But you're just a better person. I want you to feel good. It helps mentally, oh my gosh, so much to just move and feel your body how it should, instead of kind of treating it like a garbage pit, which is what I was doing before. I just didn't care enough about myself to put the time into figuring out how to do it. So I hope that you see some of that, your story and mine. I can do this. It just takes time. It takes knowledge, a little bit of perseverance, because it's not going to always be easy, but find something that you like, that challenges you, that gets you out of your comfort zone. I promise you, you will see results with realistic expectations, right? Do not compare your body to somebody else's looks wise or how fast they respond. It's going to take time, as it did for years for me, to figure out exactly what your body needs. And a year of fat loss for me, right? And then 2.5 years of lifting to however many I keep lifting. That's why it's a journey, but that's why it's fun, because you always set new goals, physical goals, which is what's kept me going. So again, I hope that this helps, inspires you in some way to not look for motivation. You'll not be motivated. It's just about consistency, which is what we've got here. We have a plan, right? We've got something that we're doing, that we're sticking to. I've given you all the tools and resources you need. You just need to decide, am I ready to change my life? And if you are ready, then I'm excited to be part of it. Because I promise you, it is so much better feeling good and having energy and getting rid of that mom guilt and being able to move and function how you want to. And then the byproduct of all of that is you have a body that reflects how healthy you are on the inside, on the outside. And then hopefully we like both inner and outer. So I hope you see the same changes that I do.